Moin nama. But you can call me JD. And I am talking to you guys from my home reservation at Hotvilla, which is where my father is from. I wanted to have kind of like a honest conversation with you guys, more particularly those of you guys who are from home from the reservation. And one comment that has stuck with me, sorry for the dogs in the background, I'll see how this video turns out after editing. One of the things that my sister had commented on when we arrived on our reservation coming up for this weekend, which was for a ceremony on my mom's side of the family. There's a girl going through what we call a nomanvaki ceremony, which is her coming of age ceremony. So they're busy with that on that side of the reservation. So me and my dad wanted to get away from all the chaos because it is really meant for the women. And we're there to help, with the water hauling and wood chopping and all that. But for the most part, we're not allowed to really do anything with the girl who is going through her nomanviki. But one of the comments that my sister made recently when we just arrived, coming up from Tucson, was that nothing changes out here on the res. And I wanted to elaborate further on that thought and think harder on what she meant by nothing changes. And she's right. Me living away from this reservation for the past 10 going on 11 years now, every time we come home it seems like always the same. The only thing that changes is that more people have more kids, more people get married. I got married. But other than that, the feeling of always coming home back to the reservation, like nothing changes. The one thing that I think that is frustrating for a lot of us who are living off the reservation, who are urban natives, is that when we come home, we feel that the res life is still behind from what it could potentially be in terms of modern economics, education, and all of that. There are a lot of issues that our tribe is facing currently because we do not produce an adequate amount of revenue for our people. We are not a gambling tribe. We do not own a casino. Just from a cultural stance, our people have always been against gambling. Even the notion of buying certain slot machines and not having it in our own casino that we built, but leasing it out to other tribes for profit, that is something that the community has voted against time and time and again. So in terms of sustainability out here, the other issue, I mentioned hauling water earlier. We've had to haul water. When I lived on the reservation, we were able to drink water out of our own faucets. Now it is no longer possible, mainly because our aquifer is at a lower level now, which is an underground water storage natural resource that we use out here. It's a very dry, barren place. So the water resource that we have is also utilized by a mining company, which used to mine coal, owned through the Peabody Mining Company. And when they were using the water in order to pump their coal, the slurry and everything like that, they tapped into our water source. And now that the water levels are so low, it's causing the erosion of the walls of the inside of the aquifer. And so the walls falling into the water source are producing unsafe levels of arsenic in our drinking water. So every time we come home, we're always asked to bring home cases of bottled water for the people to drink. We have to go and fill up literally jugs of water in order to haul for cooking with and everything like that. So the arsenic levels in our water are unsafe, but it just made me think of, those who are on the reservation. We don't have a strong economy out here. Not everybody has a sustainable job. And to those who can't afford to buy their own water, how are they getting by with drinking this contaminated water, using this contaminated water? So I think my thoughts on living away from the reservation for a decade, what I have learned since I have left the reservation, I think the frustration of those of us living away from the res is that there's so much more potential for our community, our home community here. We just get frustrated to a point just because of the level of ignorance that there is. Like any small home community, you don't have to be indigenous. You can just come from a very, very small, isolated area, small town, and you know that the mentality of the community is always dictated by its culture. And people are always quick to assume and judge other people who are wanting to come in and kind of change that culture, want to cause ripples. There's a lot of things that I would like to see change out here. Another example that I could bring up to you is my marriage to my husband. Tomorrow I'm actually going to be going down to our tribal government building and letting them know that, hey, my name has changed legally. So within our tribal registry, you're going to have to change my name. One of my older relatives referring to my husband as my friend when they were asking how they were doing, and I don't blame them. They are well intended. They love this person. It's not like they're discriminant, but using terms of me being married to another man and referring to that person as my friend and instead of my husband, just subtle social changes. So I think one thing that I want to say to you younger people who have just recently graduated from reservation schools or who are wanting a change in your, on your reservation, in your small communities, it has to start with the social changes first. I know that every time I come home, I go to the Hopi Cultural Center, which is really, it's the only one of 2 restaurants on our res, but I know every time I go there, a lot of people recognize me just because of my content that I upload to my YouTube channel. Some people recognize me because they come across the Hopi Levi videos that I have uploaded. I don't know how you guys feel when you see me coming back home into the community. I always want to work on projects when I come home. One thing that I know that I'm hesitant to do every now and then is record videos, mainly because I don't know how it's going to be seen by the local community when I'm just out with my camera, with my pigmentation. People always assume that I'm a tourist. That's happened more than once, but it's understandable. So I think one thing that I'm going to start doing now, especially since I have the free time, I'm not working this summer anymore, I'm going to be tackling a lot more subjects that hit home related to just my own personal my home community, because I feel that it is important that for those of you guys who are subscribed to my channel, you younger Hopis out there, Hopi Sinam, you guys need to be involved in these discussions, and I would like to hear your input in terms of how do you feel about what life is like here back home. How do you want to change certain things at home, especially being involved with our modern politics and legislation and everything like that. Hopis are always quick to say that we need to do this, this needs to happen, or we could be doing this, we should be doing this. But when it comes to action, my whole life I have seen very little to no action out here on the res. I remember being present at an inauguration when I was back at Hopi High at the school. The chairman that was being sworn in wanted to have his inauguration be held at the high school because he wanted the young people to see. He wanted to make all these promises, just like any politician does. But I remember one of those promises being a new shopping center, new stores and stuff like that. But that was like 15 years ago. Nothing new has ever popped up on our reservation. Again, our tribe is poor. The revenue that we had for money coming into the tribe, it no longer exists. And again, we are not a gaming tribe. So how do we create revenue? One of my projects that I'm wanting to do is reaching out to Hopi artists or other indigenous artists in general and come up to the discussion of the taboo, I guess you can say, about making profit off of our cultural heritage, Katsina dolls being one of them. From the cultural perspective, a lot of people say you're not supposed to be selling these dolls for a profit, you're not supposed to be selling them for money. Our economy sucks out here, and there's all the jobs that are out there, they're more than likely already filled. So people have to do what they have to do in order to survive, in order to feed their family, and if they're really good artsmen, craftsmen, they're going to do what's going to give them money. Another thing that's going to be coming up in Flagstaff on July 6th, is the annual Hopi Arts Festival. It's in Flagstaff, Arizona, if you're interested in attending that. I'm wanting to see if I could attend that venue and interview some artists there as well. I just want to do more topics related to our Hopi lifestyle and a lot of other topics that I haven't discussed yet on this channel. I want to just have more sit-down, honest conversation with you guys. I want to share my thoughts with you guys, and I want to have you guys involved in these conversations with me. So go ahead and leave your comments down below. Let me know what you think. If you are from the Hopi community, what are some things that frustrate you? What are some things that you're grateful for about our Hopi community? But what are some things that you want to see change, and how do you think we can make those changes happen? Thank you guys so much for watching. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. And if you already are a subscriber, you will see me later.